When you think of AirAsia, you're probably thinking of tight seats, budget fares, and bringing your own snacks. But what if I told you this low-cost giant has a secret up the front? Its very own mini business class cabin on the Airbus A330.
So as you saw in the intro, tomorrow we're flying AirAsia in their business class on the A330. I did read a story online that kind of went like, horror story, never again, but I wanted to try it for myself. Is it a good product? We'll find out. So good morning, it is 6 in the morning. Just gonna have some breakfast and then it's off to the airport.
I could have a whole plate of pandan sponge cake, delicious. But that's not very nutritious, and besides I'm feeling a tiny bit run down. And after learning a lot over the last 2 years of travelling, travel is exhausting and you really need to look after yourself. So while I'd love to see the night sky of Kuala Lumpur, I'm only 10 minutes away from the airport, at the Ibis Styles, which is very reasonably priced. KLIA is 37 minutes outside the city, taking just over half an hour from KL Central on the train. And it has 2 terminals. Terminal 1 is the first stop on the bus and is home to AirAsia's local competitor and legacy carrier Malaysian Airlines, as well as most of the international flights. While Terminal 2 is the low-cost terminal with the majority of flights being operated by AirAsia.
So that was a really nice moment. I just got off the bus and most people got off at Terminal 1. I got off at Terminal 2 because it's AirAsia's hub terminal. And most people said, thank you, goodbye, and the bus driver was really nice about it. It was a really nice moment because I said Tenamakasi, which is the local, for thank you, and I think he was quite delighted that someone who was not local said thank you in the local language, and I think it's so important to at least learn hello and thank you because it just shows that you care.
With that little life lesson out the way, regardless of which terminal you're using, and if you have a lot of time on your hands, Terminal 2 is a good place for shopping or eating, as there's a shopping mall attached to it. Most places are understandably closed at this point because it's before ideally when I want to be awake. So unfortunately it's often what's going to be a very slightly stressful check-in. With every flight and therefore logo operated by AirAsia, it did take me a moment to find today's check-in desk, showing us U for uniform all the way to Y for why did I book this early flight. Having gone to the wrong place, flying AirAsia's business class on the Airbus A330 gives you access to the fast pass and premium flatbed queue. Although I have to admit I found the use of the word premium a little bit misleading given the product on board, but you'll see that later in the video. It's like adding the word super happy amazing to a ready meal you stick in the microwave that costs you $4. Perhaps I'm just a tiny bit grumpy because it's early in the morning, and despite being third in the queue, we haven't moved in 10 minutes. I truly feel like the word fast is just laughing at me now, because every other airline I've flown in business class has taken less than 10 minutes, but AirAsia wins the prize the slowest, taking over 20 minutes. On the plus side, I get to use the priority lane for the passport and boarding card check.
So if you're someone who has anxiety, I would say with AirAsia, either turn up really early or don't fly them.
It probably sounds like I'm giving them a hard time, but this is the second time flying them from here and the same thing happened last time. I admit I turned up slightly later to get more sleep, but given that at the time of booking my fare didn't appear to include lounge access, something which it now does, I chose to sleep. I've actually never used the long haul terminal before, having only flown to Penang or Langkawi in the past, which are domestic. I'm pleasantly surprised just how clean, airy and modern it feels. With my throat getting a little dry, I'm off in search of water, which will set you back 9 ringgit, which sounds about right for an airport outside of the USA.
So interesting, if you buy a lot of water, you have to pay 1 ringgit for like a security bag. If you don't, you're going to make sure you drink it pretty much before you go through security, otherwise they'll take it off you. So having made it through security, here's a few interesting facts about AirAsia X.
AirAsia X is the long-haul arm of the low-cost carrier. offering budget-friendly travel, operating exclusively with the Airbus A330, although they did order 63 Airbus A330 Neos before deciding to cancel the order. COVID-19 certainly put a lot of pressure on them, forcing a debt restructuring process, which ended in 2022, with hubs in Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok and Bali, and they fly to 29 international destinations. Once you've cleared security, there's not a lot to do. So with the departure time approaching, I'm going to go to the gate and scout out some planes. AirAsia X uses 4 different boarding groups, which depends on the row you're sitting in, and I can only assume that they board from the back and work towards the front, with the exception being Zone 1 for anyone needing extra assistance or travelling with premium flatbed, flex or fast pass. So while we board, let's have a quick look at today's journey map. D7378 sounds a little bit like a robot from a well-known space-based film series. But today's flight, departing at 9:40, will cover 2,009 miles and take roughly 5 hours, arriving into Taipei at 14:40. I'm then going to give myself a little bit of a break from reviewing, before I try out Starlux's extremely impressive product on board the Airbus A330 Neo. So now it's back to the budget-friendly travel and to check out the seat map. What is interesting is when you compare the seat maps with AirAsia and their competitor, Malaysian Airlines, they're playing a slightly dangerous game, which we'll get to in just a moment. AirAsia's Airbus A330 business class seat is laid out over 2 rows, in a 222 configuration, and the important part is that the seat is angled. Malaysian Airlines, on the other hand, has a sort of 122 layout, on the exact same airplane, but the seats are fully flat. And if you're lucky enough, you might even get to book one of the 3 seats nicknamed the Throne, because they occupy the space of 2 seats. And as we found out during our review, perhaps there isn't a ton of width around the shoulders, but it is extremely private. Which leads us to why it's such a competitive market, because on some random dates, AirAsia was charging between 900 and 2,000 ringgit, while Malaysian Airlines, which is a legacy carrier, had good availability at the low end of 1,390, which sits right in the middle, going up to 2,600, with a few random dates going a bit higher. But the difference in the product and the service is huge. So welcome aboard AirAsia's A330. I have to say, first impressions are pretty good. It's got 20 inches of width and 60 inches of pitch, which is only 1 inch less when it comes to the width on Malaysian Airlines, but a full 16 inches less when it comes to flat mode, because, well, it doesn't go flat. I have to say the black and red is not as bad as I thought. It's actually quite nice. And unlike Malaysian, to keep prices down and low, you notice there's a large blank space, usually where the in-flight entertainment would go. So there's no Wi-Fi, no IFE, so make sure you download your own stuff. There is a nice amount of space for your legs and feet to move around freely, and the seat itself is rather comfortable. There's also a few things to keep you busy in the seat back pocket, and a flexible LED light should you wish to bring a book. The buttons to my left are self-explanatory, controlling the seat and even putting the seat into a semi-flat angled mode. There's a small table in the centre, and below the seats are 2 universal plug sockets, which I'm relieved to see because I intend to watch Netflix on my phone. There are at least reading lights above, but there's no air nozzles, which proved a little bit problematic because the cabin was quite warm. Now, despite being a 4-hour flight, you still get a pillow and a blanket, which is pretty good. Not necessary, in my opinion, because it's 9:25 in the morning. Some people might want to sleep, or if you're connecting, perhaps, but otherwise, lovely. The pillow and the duvet are both red, and were surprisingly plush and large for a low-cost carrier, with the duvet being thick and nice and warm. With only my phone to entertain me and the tiredness poking me in the side, it's time to try the seat in a different position. This is my first time trying out the angled seat and I have absolutely no expectations. I'll just mention out of respect to the person next to me, I wasn't able to record this from above.
So as you can see, I've opted to go into the flat mode quite early. I'm going to have the meal in a bit. It's a slightly strange experience because you're at an angle, but it takes a little bit getting used to, but actually it's really comfortable and the seat is really wide. Anyway, see you in 2 hours. So I've just woken up, fairly comfortable, really need to use the bathroom, and then time for some food.
I will just say that while the seat is comfortable, it's a shame, because it sort of feels like you're falling towards the footwell, which is a really odd experience.
There isn't that much to say about the bathroom on the A330. It looks a bit dated, it's pretty grey and white, but there is a really nice little plant.
With an hour and 40 minutes to go, I managed to flag down one of the cabin crew and requested the breakfast. Starting with the tea, the meal is giving me Norse vibes, which unfortunately brings back memories of a meal which was half cold and then gave me stomach issues. Luckily that's not the case today. You just have to remember this is a low-cost meal on a low-cost airline, and if you want something decent then you'll have to move over to Malaysian, who offer satay sticks and a much wider complimentary choice of drinks. Even the cutlery is cheap plastic. Yes, the writing's on the wall. Is it tasty? Yes. Did it excite me? Not particularly. With not much else to say about it, it's time for the landing.
Of any rubbish in the seat pockets and around your seating area.
So it's been a few weeks since I've flown AirAsia. It's an interesting model because they're a low-cost carrier, but they've added that business class, although it's angled, which naturally is a little bit odd. If you've never been on it before, it's going to take some getting used to because I felt like I was falling off the seat. The meal, really low cost, it was like a microwave meal. Cabin crew, really good. I would not fly that on a long haul route. And to be honest, if Malaysian was a little bit more price-wise, I would definitely pick them over AirAsia. Even the terminal experience is a little bit different. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and thank you for watching.